This is, again, a couple of quid. Every tool bag needs one of them. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's bent. Welcome back to another episode of Apprentice Sparky, where I teach you the fundamental basics of electrical work. In this episode, we have a tool bag tour. And in this tool bag is everything I use daily and consistently on every single job. So I'll start off with the actual bag. This is a Vito Pro Pack backpack. Very expensive. I don't expect you to be buying one of these yet as an apprentice. I highly recommend not to actually. Just get a cheap bag to start with and build up on the actual hand tools. But if you do have the money, it is a very, very good bag. So let's open up the front. So this is the main bit where I keep all my stuff I use constantly at the front. So at the top, we got some tracer stuff, spanners, tester pen, the ergo strip, knives, scissors, more markers, and a rethreader, 3.5 rethreader. That's quite handy for your back boxes. Then down here a little bit, this is where I keep my snips, cutters, and pliers. So curved nosed, the Nip-X shears with strippers. Again, these are a good tool if you are an apprentice, as they have multiple functions on it. Nice set of pliers. You'll be surprised how handy these do come in on a job. I never thought I'd need a pair of pliers, but ever since I've had a set, I've always been using them. This is what I call a bashing screwdriver. There's going to be times where you're going to need to hit your screwdriver, and for me, I don't like to ruin these ones, so I just keep one what it's made for, and this is, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's bent, but it does the job. A nice big set of shears. This is for your bigger cables, so if you work on more of an industrial type or commercial type premises, you're going to be working with armoured, so these come in really handy for that. Two pairs of grips. You're going to need pairs of grips for your glands. You're going to need two as well to twist both on, but you can use the adjustable spanners or even normal spanners, but for me, I use these. So over on this side, we got the decline level. I use a lot of like metalwork, so uni-strut conduits, and this is kind of what this is made for. So it's got really strong magnets on the bottom, and it even lights up in dark areas, so that comes in really, really useful. Then here I got my Wera interchangeable screwdrivers with many different ends. Obviously everyone needs a set of screwdrivers because you ain't going to be able to do much without some. And then these two are for consume units. You won't really need these as an apprentice. I can't imagine you'll be doing a lot of consume units, but if you do, go and get yourself a set of these. They're basically just different ends which will zoom in on the camera. So this is an electric screwdriver, Bosch. This is really good for second fixing sockets and 3.5 screws. I'll chuck the flathead bit in, and then it just, away it goes. It works on pressure, and then you can set it to forward or reverse. So that's really good to speed up your jobs. Twin and earth strippers, you'll see me use these throughout this series. They're a wicked bit of kit and definitely worth the money. Pair of cutters, every electrician's got to have a pair of cutters. These are the ones I use. These are Klein shears, 160mm. Set square, if you're cutting tray, trunking, anything you need a straight edge, I always just keep a little set square in here. So in this pocket, this is where I keep my CK armoured slice. Now this is a really good tool for if you work with armoured, where you go around it with a hacksaw. This basically does exactly the same sort of thing, as it has a little blade in there, and it gives you a nice clean finish. Right, so next to the CK armoured slice, we have a Baco little mini ratchet set. You'll be surprised how handy this comes in. I've used this mostly on motors, where you have the little nuts on top. So this was like 20 quid, so this is definitely worth a buy. Right, in the top pocket, I just keep a head torch. As an electrician, we all need a head torch. This one's a Unilight one. Again, I think it's about 20 quid, but it works off batteries. But yeah, every tool bag needs one of them. So that's the front part of the bag done. So I'll zip this up and we'll move on to the sides. Right, so on this side of the bag, this is where I keep some my pens and pencils. See, these are all tracer. I won't use anything else really for marking. These are the clog-free pens, which you'll see in another episode. And this is something I've made myself. You can buy these, I forgot the website, but it's basically a Martindale holder where you can just plug in your socket, and then it just keeps it on the side because it takes up a lot of room in your bag, and then some phase tapes. So we'll move on to the other side now, and I'll show you what I got there. Right, so on this side of the bag now, I keep a tape measure. This, in this case, is a tracer one. great bit of kit. I got another tracer pencil, a clog-free pen, and another tracer pencil again. I like to keep a lot of these because they do go missing on site. People do like to pinch them because they are a great tool. We got a broken ruler, but you'll be surprised how handy this comes in for measuring certain distances on cleats, etc. So I like to keep that on the outside as well. I got a Spider-Man pig because it's my son's favorite thing, so I just keep one of them on the side. Right, so we're onto the back of the bag now, and this is stuff where I don't use all the time, but quite frequently. So at the top, I keep various little bits, from drill bits to tracer pens, replacement leads for my pencils. What else we got? Bit holders, just all little small bits I don't want to get lost. This is a magnetizer for screwdrivers or screwdriver bits, or demagnetizer actually as well. We got a pad saw, obviously for plasterboard. A file, so if you do a lot of metal work, you always need a file just to make the edges smooth that you've cut. The other part of the broken ruler, don't really use this much unless I'm measuring something a bit bigger. Then this is a kachunka, we call them. I don't know the actual name, but it's more for data when you're punching down, a punch down tool, I guess that's what it's called. These are some nut drivers, so I keep 17, 13 and 10. So this is something, the sizes electricians use all the time. Especially this is more for uni-strut, 13 again for uni-strut, and a 10 is more for your 6mm bolts, your brass nuts. On to the next tool, I just keep a hammer. I've had this for years. It cost me about £5 from the watch shop. I don't like to keep a big hammer because I find myself never needing a big hammer. The small one does the job and it's just easier to store. And alongside that, I just keep a junior hacksaw. This is, again, a couple of quid, but something you'll always grab when it's needed. So a bit further down, we got a bush spanner. So if you work again with a lot with conduit or tray, etc., any metal work, this is for bushes. You can tighten them up without ruining the actual bush itself. So by here, I keep a Weaver set. This just has all handy little bits that is one of those things never really used, but you'll be on a job and you will need it one day. A bit of spray if I'm ever going to meet customers or something and I've had a long day in work, and then some various drill bits down the bottom. So in this pocket down here, I keep a trunking and conduit cutter. This is a good tool if you work a lot with the plastic stuff, like plastic trunking or plastic conduit, and it does cut other bits as well. But it's just a nice tool to have in the bag. I don't use it very regular, but if you need to get a nice finish, it's good for that. So in the last pocket down here, I keep an RJ45 tool. In this case, it's a Klein one. This is a good bit of kit, but it is like 50 quid, so it is quite expensive. But if you do a lot of data, it's definitely worth getting. So this was my tool bag tour. I hope you found some tools in here that you can add to your tool collection, and maybe some tools you didn't even know existed. But again, thanks for watching. Please leave any comments below or any questions, and I shall catch you in the next episode.